Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it is the 18th of April, 2026. I almost said 2024 for some reason, and tonight was night one of WrestleMania. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm pulling up the Wikipedia so I can get the times. You know me. I like to know the times, but I don't time it myself. WrestleMania 42 Wikipedia. I want to know, some of these matches felt kind of short. I want to see something. So far, so the longest match tonight, of course, was the main event. It went 22 minutes. Like that women's tag match, it felt under 10 minutes, and it was 8.5. Both the women's tag match and the IC title match, 8 minutes. 8.5 and 8:15. No women's match tonight went more than 9 minutes. Just going to say that there. No women's match tonight went more than 9 minutes. The women's tag went 8:35, according to Wikipedia. The women's IC went 8:15, and the women's world went 9 on the dot, according to Wikipedia. So, oof. That ain't good. I'm just looking at one other thing here. Cool that Paige is back, though. And she is Paige, even though Nikki kept calling her Saraya on the post show. She is Paige. Let me see one other thing. All right, we're good. But yeah, overall, though, a little disappointing. I thought night one was a little just all right. And if people say they didn't like it, I can totally agree and understand with that. With me, I thought it was just all right. I thought the match of the night for sure was Gunther and Seth Rollins. I thought Gunther and Seth Rollins killed it out there. I thought they were great together. Yeah, we had the Braun Breaker return, which we theorized could happen tonight or Monday on Raw. But, you know, going into everything as far as the show does go, and again, running down the card here, I mean, we had Jey Uso, or we had the 6-man tag. That match went 7 minutes, and it was just meh. We had the Unsanctioned match, which was pretty fun, went 14 minutes. I liked that match, probably the second best match of the night. Then we talked about the women's tag with Paige returning. That was fine. We had Becky versus AJ Lee, was just another fine match at best. Like, fine at best. Like, not even you can say, oh, that was a good match at best. No, it passed. Yeah, I thought it could have been better. Gunther and Seth killed it. Liv and Stephanie, too much Judgment Day for me. And I just felt like it was kind of crutched and hindered a little bit with that. And then we had Cody and Randy, which just, for some reason, and they kept playing up Randy's hurt. They played off the fucking Meltzer report. They never said his name specifically, but they were like, rumors came out online earlier this week that Randy Orton is hurting and could be injured going into this match. The rumor in the locker room is that he may have suffered a back injury, maybe dealing with a back injury. And so the whole time, this match is just slow. And it's just there, and it's going, and it's not bad, and nobody fucked anything up or anything, like, you know. But it's slow, and it's there, and it never felt like it shifted from, like, second to third gear. It was in first gear, got into second gear once they got rid of Pat, when you're like, okay, the match has started, trying to shift it into third, and you're just like, push that clutch in, guys. So, I don't know. Now, as far as, I probably should save this for Monday, but we'll do it now. Luke and I's predictions and who did better. I haven't actually looked yet, so we're going to tabulate it right now. Luke in the 6-man tag had the baby faces. I had the heels. That's one for Luke. Let me see something. So, the one for Luke. We both had Drew. No one gets it in that one. We both had Bayley and Lyra in the women's tag. He had Gunther. I had Seth. So that's 2 for Luke. Women's IC title match. He had AJ Lee. I had Becky. So that's 1 for me. We both had Liv. And we both had Randy. So Luke wins by 1, 3-2. As far as our predicting does go, Luke does get the win on that one. But yeah, overall, I thought the show was fine. Hopefully night 2 is better. Hopefully night 2, where we've got Oba and Brock opening it. We got a ladder match. We got Finn and Dom, which should be really good. Sammy and Trick Williams should be I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on that one, on how it's going to be. I think Sammy can get a pretty good match out of Trick, but I don't know. Then Jade and Rhea, that's going to be the downer probably. And then hopefully we get something good with Punk and Roman. But that's tomorrow. That's night one. We'll talk about all of that tomorrow. With that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. I don't know why I yelled it like that. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. If you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out over on Twitch by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat, just like esports gaming rules. We'll get to all your Twitch bits here in a moment. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos, when we go live, and when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube by hitting the join button. Hit the join button to become a channel member. That way you get access to our graphics packages, early access to our graphics tutorials, a badge next to your name, emotes and emojis you can use in a live chat, and more. And finally, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic. Well, not finally, there's one other thing we got tonight too. Head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, and claiming a free game or getting bucks, Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you want to get Stone Cold Steve Austin or Liv Morgan in Fortnite, as those skins just dropped last Thursday. Well, when you do so, buy your V-Bucks, do that on the Epic Store or through the PlayStation or whatever, and then when you're going to the store to actually buy the skins, make sure you go to the bottom and it says support a creator code. Support a creator. You got one. It's PW Unlimited. Again, it's PWUNLIMITED. That's PW Unlimited. Now, speaking of Stone Cold Steve Austin in Fortnite, we have a new parody shirt up live on our PW Unlimited TeePublic store. It's our Fortnite 316 t-shirt, but it's not just a t-shirt. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got fanny packs, we got socks, we got basketball shorts, we've got tank tops, we've got all kinds of merch. Fortnite 316, Austin 316 said, I'm in Fortnite. Hell yeah. So with all of that, head over to pwunlimited.co/Fortnite 316 to get your Fortnite 316 parody merch now and support PW Unlimited. Again, that is pwunlimited.co/Fortnite 316. Now, as far as WrestleMania 42 Night 1 does go, we got to talk about that stage. Thought the stage was cool, but would have looked better at night. This is the problem, and West Coast, Best Coast. I'm going to say it. West Coast, Best Coast, West Coast, Best Coast. I can't say that more. But the problem with doing your West Coast WrestleManias in a building that lets in sunlight, because I mean, you've got to, you could say, oh, do it in an arena, then it'll be dark when you want it dark. True. But when you're in a football stadium, yes, it's covered, but it's still, the top's like glass open, whatever. It's gonna let light in. And so the stage probably would have looked so much better if it was nighttime, if it was dark in there. Especially Cody's entrance. Because Cody's entrance was like an Iron Man-ish kind of thing where, you know, you have Tony Stark's work office or workspace or whatever, and he's got all the things, the cages, not cages, but the cabinets with all the different Iron Man suits. Well, that's what they had for Cody's entrance. It was Cody's different gear throughout the time. It was first Cody, it was Dashing Cody, basically. It was Stardust, and then it was now Cody. And they show, you know, close-ups of all those, and they talk about all those, and then the lights go out, and then Cody's supposed to come up the elevator. But when the lights go out, it's still pretty goddamn bright in that building. And so you don't get the full effect. It's like, I talk about this all the time, WrestleMania 31 and The Undertaker's entrance. The Undertaker's entrance for WrestleMania 31, it was still bright as hell outside. Sun was maybe just barely starting to set, but Levi's Stadium being a full open stadium, it was still bright. Sun was still piping right in there. So Undertaker came out in the full sunlight. And it's like, Perfect example, SummerSlam last year. We had that minimalistic stage, right? With the screen, but it was like the multiple screens put together to give it kind of depth a little bit. Looked fine during the day, but once it got night there in MetLife Stadium, it looked so much better. It looked cooler, and the depth of the stage looked nice. But when it's always in the daylight, there's just something about it. And I think the other thing was, because the whole stage was basically screens, I get what they were trying to go for as far as the Mad Max vibe, as far as like the Fortress vibe, like within the graphics and stuff. But because every bit of that, other than like around the middle of the two pillars on the side and a little bit at the very top in the middle, was screen, and it just had the wrestler graphics on it, it didn't look like it was supposed to look. It didn't look super wartime, dystopian, or whatever. So that was the other thing. Maybe it would have looked better at night again. I don't know. But the stage was fine. It was cool. I liked it. And I saw a lot of people trying to say, oh, it's like the WrestleMania 35 stage. That was a little more plain and simplistic. Then I saw people comparing it to the WrestleMania 40 stage. And I'm like, well, the cool thing about the WrestleMania 40 stage is at least we had a distinctive part of the stage where they had the big XL. So that was a defining factor of that stage and making it look different and having something there that just didn't look like another big screen. So I thought the stage was fine. I'm not knocking it, saying it was bad or anything, but I thought it was just a fine stage. Maybe could have been a little bit better if there was more pieces to it that weren't just screen and were more like, hey, here's a cannon coming out the side, or hey, here's, a lot of the thing with the graphics was the big old train. Maybe the train was there, or the truck that they had, the war dystopian truck thing that kind of almost looked like a warthog. Maybe they had one of those up on the stage. Just something that more gave us the feel of what the theme was. Not just, here's these pillars, there's some rusted metal around the middle and a little bit over the top. So that's just my thoughts on stage and production stuff there. But we do have some bit donations here from Esports Gaming Rules. He said, Paige is back in WWE and it's still her house. Yeah, so with Paige Saraya being back in WWE, this basically told us Bellas were always going to win. Plan was for the Bellas to win the tag titles here tonight, which I've predicted was probably the route they were going to go. Not what I wanted in my hearts of hearts. I wanted Bayley and Lyra to win it. And I was like, oh, they'll probably give it to the Bellas for one run because they have never had them before. And we go from there. And it looks like, that's what they were going to do. That's what they basically did. And Saraya said on the post show, I'm a WWE girl for life. Now we know that it's no surprise that before going to AEW, she wanted to go back to WWE. They said, no, we're not going to clear you to wrestle. And Tony did. So that's a whole thing in itself as well. I thought it would have been cool. And maybe she does this on Monday. I thought maybe she would do it on the post show. But she needs to come out, grab a mic, and just go, I'm back. Great. It would be great. It would be great if she does that. Do it on Monday. We're all good. Esports Gaming Rules also says WWE did the quote teaser video for WrestleMania 43 in Riyadh, despite some uncertainty about Riyadh's host city status due to wartime and war in Iran. No, there's not. There is no uncertainty, my guy, because you probably were not following the news this week where old Nick Khan was like, we're not backing out. We're going to Saudi next year. This show's going to be great in Saudi Arabia. He said it. He said it on like Thursday. So there's no uncertainty. There was never any uncertainty. What there was skepticism. What there was questioning of F1's pulled out. Other sports and events have pulled out of Saudi. Will WWE do it? There was never uncertainty. It was just, would they? Most thought they wouldn't, and they're not. They're doubling down. Nick Khan's telling us, they're still going to Saudi. So, they're still going to Saudi. Esports Gaming Rule says, I watched the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. My favorite moments are Stephanie McMahon and Linda and Steph's daughters inducting her. And yes, there is that thank you, Vince chant. Oh, yes. So Stephanie mentions Vince last night in her Hall of Fame speech, and the crowd pops. Like a legit pop when she mentions Vince. Then she says something else about Vince, and we get, thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince, from this damn crowd. Yeah. Yeah. He says AJ Styles with the Good Brothers, TNA and New Japan references. Yes, we knew they would mention TNA, but slight New Japan references. Like not references to New Japan, but like their time in New Japan-ish. And then the Hogan Andre Immortal Moments with Jimmy Hart, Nick Hogan, and Andre's daughter. That was cool too. Yeah. Esports Gaming Rules also says, now that Cody has kept the WWE Championship, but has his eye beaten up, is Randy Orton really a true heel? And what happened to Pat McAfee now? And does Pat and TKO know Randy hurt during McAfee heel run? You got a lot there. Let's dissect this. As far as Cody's eye does go, I don't know when that happened, but let's pull this image up on the screen really fast because this is bad. I know we're just jumping all over the place and I should just wait and talk about this later, but we're going to pull this up on the screen really fast. This is bad. This is real bad. Cody's freaking eye is messed up. Screenshot. Cody's eye is jacked. They showed this on the post show. This is Cody's eye. The doctor was like lifting up the eyelid and stuff, and it was just falling right back down. So I don't know if they're playing it up because Cody kind of messed up his eye, or it's legit effed up. So we'll see. The interesting thing here is what Pat McAfee had been saying for the last 2-3 weeks. If Randy doesn't win, I'm out. If Randy doesn't win, you won't see me again. Well, Randy didn't win. Now, the thing here is they played up the back injury to Randy Orton. Randy's hurt. Rumors online. Randy hurt. And so the question is, did Randy lose because he's hurt? Or was the plan always for Randy to lose? Was the plan always for Cody to win? Because when Pat said, you'll ever see me again if Randy doesn't win, I'm like, Randy's got to win. Randy's got to win. And then we start hearing, Randy's hurt. Randy's hurting, is what Dave Meltzer said. Randy's hurting. Then they play it up on the show that Randy may have a back injury. That's the scuttlebutt. That's the rumor. That's the word going around backstage in the locker room. And so you have the now question of, did Cody win because that was the plan? Or did Cody win because Randy's hurt? What do we do with Pat? Do we get to the match at Backlash? The rumored Pat McAfee, Randy Orton versus Jelly Roll and Cody match. They certainly kind of teased that up tonight. And one way they can get around all of this and just say, screw it, fuck it, whatever, is Pat comes out and goes, you guys thought I was serious? You thought I was telling the truth? That I would go away? No. We still need to save this place. Goddamn Cody Rhodes. Look what Jelly Roll tried to do to me. Look what Jelly Roll did to me. I can't go away now. Jelly, I thought we were buds, dude. Like something like that, you know. So we'll see how that all plays out. It was very interesting. Cody gets attacked after the match. Punt, belt shot. I was like, oh, hey. When's the last time a pay-per-view ended with a big angle? When's the last time a big show ended with a big angle? It hasn't been for a while. Usually it's like match ends in the main event, go off the air. We haven't, I can't think of in WWE or AEW the last time a show ended with a big angle like that. We'll see how it all goes, but it's like, are we still going to get the Backlash match? How hurting, how messed up is Randy's back? We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we find stuff out and news comes out on this throughout the week. Excuse me. One last thing from Esports Gaming Rules before we get into all these matches. He says, I'm glad Bianca Belair is going to have a baby, but WWE has messed up the Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair plans again. And wait, the match is a little bit longer. What? I have no clue what you're saying here. Yes. So Bianca Belair came out after John Cena announced the attendance of, was it 50,816? I have it written down right here. You know me. Paper notes. Yeah, 50,816. So Bianca then comes out and she's wearing this big, like, flowery jacket or whatever. It's long and it's flowing. And she's like, you know, WrestleMania is all about surprises. Maybe we give him one more here, John. And she starts to unbutton the jacket, and I'm like, she's going to be in gear and going to say, I'm coming back. I'm cleared. I'm ready to go. Well, she's in year-ish style clothes, but with the belly open and says, I'm having a baby. So who knows when we can see Bianca Belair in a ring again? Who knows if we'll ever see Bianca Belair in a ring again? You just never know when it comes to a wrestler having a baby. Most come back, but WWE gives them the time to come back when they're ready, come back when they want. As we saw with Alexa Bliss, it was 2 years after she had her baby. But as we saw with like Ronda Rousey and Lacey Evans, it was months, just a couple of months, 4 months or so for Ronda at least, after having the baby. So it's just all on her when she's going to be ready to come back. We don't know even if she's been cleared with the finger. We don't know how that's all going. It's a lot of just Bianca will be back at some point in the future. Can't say in the near future. Can't say relatively soon. No. We don't know how far along she is either. Because it's like, I think when she had the finger surgery, what was it, December, January? She was even saying like on her Instagram and stuff, we're going to rehab it to come back soon. So we don't know. She's already got a belly. So we don't know if she's a couple months pregnant, 1 month pregnant, how in she is. She didn't give any details. She just said, I'm having a baby. And so congratulations, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford and whatever, this brings for them going forward. Congratulations. Having a kid is amazing. But it was never the finger, was it? Don't even fucking start with that, Chancellor. Don't even start with that, Palpatine. It was always the fucking finger. Plus, you dumb fuck. If a finger was to cover up she's pregnant, first off, she would have had the baby by now. Secondly, bump, even if it was like she was, no. You can't be that dumb. You can't be that dumb to say, oh, it was never the finger, huh? Oh, well. No, you can't be that goddamn. I'm just going to say it right now. I don't care if this hurts your feelings. That's a comment from a virgin that's never had a kid. I'm just going to say it. But I think from the and this is just experience of having a kid myself and going through, life with the pregnancy and stuff. I've seen how the belly grows. She looks more than a month, maybe 2. But at the same time, it's different for everybody because everybody's belly grows differently. I've seen some women, grow really big fast, and some you can't tell at all throughout the pregnancy, or you can't tell to the very end of the pregnancy. So I would say, and I don't want to predict their spitball, maybe 2 months, especially with the way she was back in January when she said, I'm having the surgery to hopefully come back soon, or December maybe it was. So yeah, don't let it hurt you that bad. Hurt me what? You didn't hurt me at all. I'm the one calling you a dumb fuck. Because that was a very... Never mind. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say... I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't even say what I'm thinking. Anyways, as far as this show does go, nothing happened on the pre-show. I watched bits and pieces of it, but I wasn't fully paying attention. Nothing really happened on it, though. There's just a lot of talking. As we go into the main card here, Lin-Manuel Miranda narrates the cold open, and John Cena kicks off the show. Cena comes down in a 3-piece suit. Now, what I did watch before this show started was John Cena and The Undertaker doing a podcast together. It was The Undertaker's Dead Man, or 6 Feet Under, or whatever. Live from WWE World. Yes, they did air it live, which is really cool. And if you got, an hour or so to kill, so you need something in the background to listen to, go for it. It was a great time. They talk about basically everything to do with Undertaker and John Cena together throughout their careers, as far as when Cena debuted in 2002, then leading to they had the match of Vengeance, then they didn't have another match for like 15 years when they had their Mania match, and then talking about retirement and how Undertaker's retirement is different, and even AJ's retirement is different than John's, because John had almost 4 years to prepare, where other guys just be like, all right, I'm done. Like AJ was just like, all right, I'm done. We're not building up to this. John Cena said that before the retirement tour started, he got the idea in his head and pitched it to WWE 3 years before they even did it. And then they announced it 6 months or so before it started. So Yeah, good listen. Very good listen. Usually I get annoyed with Michelle McCool when I watch this, but I didn't. She was fine. She didn't try to because sometimes she'll try to interject herself in. And she did once or twice, but it was only to give her personal experience of being backstage with John there. And so that was fine. Sometimes Undertaker would be telling old stories and then she'd be like, oh, I heard you say it to me like this one time. Yeah. So good listen. Great listen. Highly recommend if you got some time to kill. If you just need something on in the background or really want to listen. Because I listened to the whole thing, really paid attention, and it piqued my interest. Very much so. John Cena also gives some very good advice if you're a young, aspiring wrestler to don't just do what you think they want you to do. Be yourself. Because he said that's what almost got him fired, basically, was he was doing what he thought they wanted him to do, what they thought they wanted him to be. And then when he realized that wasn't working, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go out there and unapologetically be myself. Be bits and pieces of me. So really cool, really great. Cena, it's funny. He's making jokes about, I got to get to Allegiant Stadium here soon. And they're going to start the show without me. But also, one other thing about the podcast, I saw people going, Cena said he'll never wear jorts again. He'll never come out on WWE product in jorts. He didn't. He wasn't wearing jorts. It was his Mania shirt for this year and cargo shorts, which are not the same thing as jorts because jorts are jean shorts. He wore cargo shorts. Different. Just saying. Somebody that wears shorts year round, tell you it's a different thing. Anyways, I wear the more cargo short style. My dad was always a jorts guy, jean shorts. My dad was always a jean short guy. So, anyways, Cena comes out, 3-piece suit, told cameraman that he was not going to run this time like he used to. That's another thing. I know I'll keep going back to this podcast. Another thing that Cena keeps talking about in the podcast of, it's great to be retired because I can show up and just hang out. I can show up and not be worried about what do I have to do at this time? What do I have to do right here? What do I have to get done here? It's more of you show up, say your highs, say your hellos, and hang out. So he jogged down to the ring, basically. Cena entered, a nice ovation from the crowd. Thanks to the crowd. He said the road to WrestleMania has been chaotic, unpredictable, and people from all sides have been very vocal. It's been polarizing, which explains why he's hosting tonight. He said, but show is on. We're here to go. Now it's time for people to step up and deliver. Welcome to WrestleMania. Fireworks hit, and the music of the Usos hit. Now come Jimmy and Jay from the crowd. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on commentary. Wade Barrett congratulated Michael Cole on calling his 25th WrestleMania, which I'm like, is that true? I would have thought more. But I guess no. Because if you think about it, Michael Cole probably was never on commentary before the brand split. And then when they would do the whole, him and Taz would do the SmackDown matches, King and JR would do the Raw matches. So if you think about it, Cole may not have ever been on, at least for a Mania, on commentary before the brand split. So before 2002. Dang. So we did start this off with the 6-man tag team match. LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, and Jay Uso, the Usos, taking on ISHO Speed and the World Tag Team Champions, Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Again, like I stated earlier, the match went 7 minutes and 10 seconds, and it was just there. Nothing special at all, I will say that. And we go through this whole match, and the whole build is, what's ISO Speed going to look like once he comes in? He's on the apron, everyone else is fighting in the ring, and he's standing there like, is it my time? Is it my time? And it's not, is it my time like a guy that's not a wrestler trying to remember what they told him to do. And he played this up very well. ISO Speed stood on the apron like a guy that, and I know I'm going to contradict myself, was told what to do. As far as the whole build here is, I'm not a wrestler, Logan. But Logan's like, yeah, you're athletic enough, you could do it. And so he's probably told, don't come into your tagged in, do this when you're this. And Logan probably gave him a game plan. It's the story that it felt like they were telling. And so the four of them, and sometimes LA Knight would jump in, but the Usos and the Vision were fighting in the ring. And Speed was kind of just holding the top rope, yelling, hey, come on, tag, let's go. Trying to hype up his teammates to tag him in and get him in. And so Speed eventually managed to get in. He tried to come off the top rope, but LA Knight dropped him with the clothesline. Speed managed to give Knight a body slam and celebrated upon doing so, but Knight immediately got popped up, and Speed bailed from the ring while tagging in Paul. Again, I show Speed looked pretty good. I will say that. I don't know if he's Logan Paul first match good, but he looked way better than most celebrity wrestlers or celebrities that come in and have matches. Again, you're never going to be Logan Paul. You're never going to see you're probably never going to see a Logan Paul or a Bad Bunny again. And I will put up that Bad Bunny performance was great because it was a street fight. He could probably do just as good in a regular match. We don't know, though. Logan's just great. Logan's just fucking, he was born to be a pro wrestler and just didn't realize it too late in his life. Or later in his life, because he's still young. But regardless, I will say it. I've said it many times. I think Logan Paul is the best celebrity become wrestler that there's been. I think Logan Paul is the best. We're bringing in a celebrity to do this. We're just going to whatever because he's going to bring eyeballs. And there we go. But I think he's the best ever come in like that. I know people don't like to hear it because they don't like Logan Paul, but yeah. So, where was I? The babyfaces worked over Logan Paul until Theory made a blind tag and dropped Jimmy Uso with a drop kick. The heels worked over Jimmy briefly until he made a hot tag to Jay, who then speared Theory and got a 2 off of it. Paul broke up the pin. At one point, ISO Speed blocked a Knight BFT and shoved him into Paul, knocking Paul off the apron. Theory was pissed off here and demanded that Speed help him with the next spot. But Knight shoved Theory into Speed. Again, playing up the fact of Speed doesn't know what he's doing. He's taking direction from Theory and Logan and just, kind of just doing what he's told. And if he messes it up, it's his inexperience. And they're playing up. I'm not a wrestler, guy. You're making me do this match that I never volunteered to be in, and I'm not a wrestler, so I'm not going to be smooth, good, and great. And I liked the way they played that up. Knight then gave Theory a BFT and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Cool. There you go. So then the post match gets a little weird, like kind of very weird. The whole build to this match is, hey, these baby faces hate you, Speed, and you need Logan and Austin to keep you safe. LA Knight showed up to your house and threw you into your computer. We'll be your security detail to keep you safe. Yet, match ends. Logan's all pissed off that ISO Speed messed up a couple times, so he clocks him with the right hand. Paul then puts Speed on the announce table, and he looks like he's going to go up to the top rope and do the spot where he jumps off the top rope to the announce table, whatever, and he stopped. The Usos give him a 1D. They then put him on the announce table, and then all the baby faces that are supposed to hate ISO Speed work with ISO Speed and tell him, hey, go to the top rope. Hey, frog splash off onto Logan. And he does it, and actually does it very well. And it's like, wait, I thought those guys were supposed, the whole story was that they hated Speed because they cost Speed the Usos the tag title, or he cost the Usos the tag title. And LA Knight wants to fight him, and he showed up to his house to fight him. And it's like, the whole, it was very ass backwards here, in my opinion. Very ass backwards, but whatever. It was fine. It felt like a pre-show match, and we moved on. Mr. The Spot said, Tim, didn't you predict or say that we could have Ted DiBiase interfere or attack Cody in the main event? No, I never said that. I never once said that. What I said was, dumb people online think that can happen because Ted DiBiase posted a video online of saying, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas on WrestleMania weekend. And people thought, hey, is Ted DiBiase the one on the phone? I never said it was. I said, people online are stupid for thinking that. That's what I said. And hey, Ted DiBiase Jr. was there in the crowd as a fan, which is funny. But no, I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. If you're going to quote what I said, please do it properly and accurately. Because I said, dumb people think this can happen online. Dumb people online think this can happen. It's not going to happen. I'm like, it's not going to happen. Because people are like, oh, is Ted DiBiase the one on the phone? No. I'm like, I don't know who. Before it was revealed as Pat, I'm like, I don't know who it is. But it ain't Ted. And anyone online that thinks it is dumb. So no, I never said that. Never once said that. Luke never said that. If you're thinking maybe Luke did instead of me. Nope. Neither of us ever said it could be Ted DiBiase Jr. So, yeah. As we move forward, George Kittle had the time of his life tonight. First off, George Kittle was freaking GCW last night doing shit. Then they showed him a couple times chugging beers. He was just like, full cup, downed it. At least through 2 or 3 times they showed him do that. Like, George Kittle have the time of his life, sitting behind commentary the whole show. This man loves pro wrestling. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. When his time is up in the NFL, 100% could see him getting into wrestling in some form or fashion. I don't know if he wants to be a full-time pro wrestler, be, in WWE, having matches and or whatever. But I wholeheartedly think that when he's done as a football player, when his career in the NFL is up, he'll probably somehow, some way transition into pro wrestling. I could see it now. And I said that for a while. And I bet you he's wanted to do more. 49ers have kiboshed it. Because apparently at 39, when he did that stuff with Pat and Miz, 49ers were mad at him because A, they didn't give him a heads up, and B, he didn't get cleared by them. So then we had the unsanctioned match. It was Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Fatu got a cool entrance with some Polynesian Samoan dancers. They did some fire dancing, which is really cool. And Fatu wins here. We're gonna fast forward a little bit. We're gonna go to the post show. Fatu spoke very emotionally about what tonight meant to him. He said he's been in WWE for 2 years, but tonight was the night he felt he made it. Tonight was the night he felt that he proved he belongs here. Tonight was the night that he felt that he is meant to be here. He's like, if you didn't know me before, you've only started following me since I've been WWE. Thank you. Thank you for backing me. And he's like, the entrance was great. It's something I've wanted to do. Get my Polynesian heritage out there, represent them, show off the islands. He got very emotional and very just real with talking about how tonight was the night he showed up and showed out. He's like, I've been in WWE for 2 years now. Tonight felt like my welcome. Or not my welcome. It felt like, basically tonight felt like the first night where he proved he deserves to be in the spot he's in WWE. Not just like, oh yeah, I'm here in WWE, cool, whatever. No, I've proved tonight, not just to the world, but even to himself, that he deserves to be a top guy in WWE, a top act, a top of the card featured guy. Will Jacob Fatu ever be WWE champion? Would be pretty badass if he was. I don't know. Like, there's some guys you look at and you go, they probably will be. Trick, Oba, more probably Oba than Trick, but Trick probably would at least get it once, if not just the world title. But it's like, I could see them pushing Jacob up there. Even if they give him one couple month run, I think it'd be great. So, but yeah, this night meant so much to Jacob Fatu. He said it on the post show. It meant everything to him because he felt like this was the biggest night of his entire career, the biggest moment of his career where he proved his legitimacy as a top guy in pro wrestling and a top guy in the WWE. So Fatu gave McIntyre a suicide dive early as he entered. The bell rang. Started the match. Remember, it's unsanctioned, so it's like, you don't gotta start in the ring. You just, once these two guys are ready to fight, they're gonna fight and we're gonna go. Fatu and goes to use the toolbox, kind of like CM Punk did to, which plays into the finish of the match, but like CM Punk did in the Hell in a Cell match, and Drew tripped him up. McIntyre then used the hesitation, kicked the leg out like I stated. McIntyre then drove the back of Fatu's head against the side of the ring. McIntyre's brother was filming in the front row on a phone. You can actually see the footage on their social media. McIntyre then grabbed it to film himself up close, whatever, beating up Fatu. He even used the phone as a weapon. Crowd laughed. Fatu responded in the ring with a running hip attack and a pop-up Samoan drop. McIntyre tossed him out of the ring and hit a big Undertaker flip dive. Fatu avoided a claymore and drove McIntyre's head into a chair that was wedged into the corner. Fatu then followed this up with a mighty moonsault for a near fall. The announcers wondered if it was the first time someone has kicked out of Fatu's moonsault, which I don't think. Pretty sure Strowman did once, but I could be wrong. McIntyre then used a wrench as a weapon and drove the sharp edge into the forehead of Fatu. McIntyre then slammed Fatu on the upright chair for a 2. Fatu then came back with a super kick for whipping McIntyre repeatedly with a belt. The crowd then chanted for Fatu. Fatu then grabbed a toolbox, but took too much time to use it. McIntyre nailed a claymore for a near fall. Fatu then placed McIntyre on McIntyre on a table, went to the top, but took too long again, and McIntyre chucked the chair at his head. McIntyre then shoved Fatu off the top, flip bumped to the floor, crashing through a table on the outside. Mere moments later, though, Fatu came right back in with consecutive super kicks in the ring, landed a mighty moonsault on Drew through the table, and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Again, the match went, I want to say like 14 minutes. What we got? 14-10. So, it was a fun match. Second best match of the night. If you want to say it was the best match, go for it. I could see the argument there. I liked, in my opinion, Seth and Gunther just a little better. But, like, that was best match. This was second best match. As we move forward, they tell us, hey, we're done on ESPN2. If you're watching in the United States, move to ESPN Unlimited. If you're watching outside of the United States, just keep watching on Netflix. And I watched on Netflix, so the international feed on Netflix. And every time we would get a commercial, it would be this goddamn, there's 2 different clips they kept showing from the Hogan doc. To hype up on April 22nd, we're getting the Hogan doc. It's 4 1-hour episodes, or 1-hour-ish episodes. But they keep showing the same clips. And we got it over and over and over because ESPN and ESPN Unlimited had to do 3 to 4 minute commercials every goddamn time between matches. And I saw someone go, oh, the same thing on Peacock. No, it wasn't. Peacock never ran these TV style commercials where they go 3.5, 4 minutes. If we would ever get ads on Peacock, it was because, well, Peacock had an ad version and they were maybe 2 minutes long at that. Or it was just an ad for who was sponsoring the show, whether that was Cinnamon Toast Crunch, whether that was The General, whether that was, some other company, and that was a quick 30-second cricket spot or something. And then I saw somebody else comment on what I said and go, well, I'm here in the building and they need to set up for entrances and this and that, so they need the time. And I'm like, okay, then you cut it to a backstage segment or a backstage interview, something that progresses the show and keeps the show flowing and not takes us to commercial where we stop paying attention and stop listening and stop watching and then go, oh shit, what did I just miss? They're back. So that's my one gripe. But like I said, I watched the VPN on Netflix smoothly, no problem. But it was the fact of kept having to see the same fucking Hogan clips. So let me move into the, I guess you would call it main card, if that was considered technically the pre-show on ESPN2, first hour. They never called it pre-show. They're calling it first hour, regardless. Move on to the main portion of the PLE, the non-cable version, the streaming-only version. And it's women's tag title 4-way. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair come out wearing cool gear. Alexa was a moth. Charlotte was a butterfly. Paige and Lyra come out on the wrong side of the ring, or ramp, basically, because what they did was they played Lyra's music coming out, which I bet you was a Bailey call. Hey, my music's played at Mania before. Play Lyra's. Anyways. But what they did was they split the graphics. The left side was Lyra, the right side was Bailey. But when they came out, they were on the wrong side. Bailey walked down the Lyra side, Lyra walked down the Bailey side. Funny. And then the tag champs come out, the Irresistible Forces, and they're wearing all white, and they have demolition masks in white, which is really cool, especially with Demolition going into the Hall of Fame last night. And then the Bellas come out. You can look, but you can't touch. And so they come out, Brie and Nikki's on a crutch, and Nikki, Alexa, stop. Damn echo going off. And so Nikki comes out, and she's trying to cut this promo, saying how I'm not cleared, but I don't want Brie to lose her Mania moment tonight, so we found somebody else to take my place. And she's just butchering her lines to no get out. And she goes, so here's who we got. And the music of Paige plays. Paige graphics show up throughout the entire arena, the entire stadium. She comes out to a very good huge pop from the crowd. Now, unfortunately, this would have been a bigger moment and meant more, at least to me, if A, we didn't know about it 24 hours ago, and B, Nikki didn't just butcher the shit out of that little 3-line promo. But they all come down to the ring. Paige is singing her old Paige theme. The crowd's going nuts for it. And the match begins. Because it's a 4-way, there's one woman from each team in the ring at all times. Early on in the match, we got yes chance because Brie went for some yes kicks on Flair and Valkyria early, but she was stopped from tagging in Paige. Lash then brought down Bliss and Valkyria from a middle rope with a double power bomb before Brie hit Lash with a missile dropkick. They were basically trading big spots and whatnot here and there in this, 8.5 minute match. They were, yes, kind of working. You could tell, hey, we're trying to get a lot in and we haven't been given a lot of time. But at the same time, it's like they weren't working at a frenetic pace. And I'm not saying that anything was bad in this match. It was a average. Again, most of these matches were just average. Like, this was no different than what you would have saw. Or again, other than Paige being in it, nothing memorable. But there was nothing different about this match that you wouldn't have saw on a Backlash or a Bad Blood or a special Raw, which is the bad thing. This didn't feel like a big Mania match. Other than, hey, if Paige wasn't in this match, there would have been not a single special thing about this match. Nothing would have felt special or big. But because Nikki got injured, it was fortuitous that they added Paige. Now, the rumor had been all along, if Nikki's not cleared, they're adding the Kabuki Warriors. If Nikki's not cleared, they're adding Asuka and Kairi, and that's why we're not doing Asuka and Io at Mania. Well, they didn't add Asuka and Kairi. And we're still not getting Io and Asuka at Mania. So Paige eventually does get tagged in. She handed out clotheslines, and they're Paige clotheslines, because Paige clotheslines, she always follows all the way through with them. Some wrestlers you see clothesline, and they're like, stop it up here, boom, take the bump. Paige always follows all the way through with her clotheslines, and no different here. She takes down a bunch of different women before grabbing Bayley and giving her a fisherman suplex. Paige then hit knee strikes on Lash Legend off the apron before trying a crossbody on Valkyria, but Valkyria caught her, rolled through. Tried to go for the Nightwing early here, but Paige avoided it and hit a Paige turner. Went for the pin, but it got broken up. Everybody started trading big moves until the ring cleared out, leaving Paige and Flair alone. Crowd popped for this one because they knew their history. They know their history. So they trade strikes until Flair eventually gets her down into a figure 8, but Paige countered into a small package for a 2. Flair responded with a natural selection. Bliss then came in off the top, but was distracted. So Paige and Bliss are fighting. Paige gets knocked down. Alexa then goes to the top rope. Alexa, stop. I shouldn't have said that. Alexa, stop. Bliss goes to the top rope. All of a sudden, Charlotte gets pulled out of the ring. Michael Cole's all confused. Oh, Brie Bella just pulled Charlotte out of the ring. No, it's Nikki. They don't look the same anymore. It's super easy to tell these two women apart. It ain't, Diva Search anymore. Quinn Magic early on in their career, 100% easy to tell these two apart. Like, they don't look like paternal or identical twins anymore. Anyways, Nikki pulls Charlotte out of the ring, starts hitting her with a crutch. That's fine, because it's no DQ technically, because it's a 4-way. In wrestling, a singles match, unless otherwise stated, there's DQs. But as we've learned in wrestling, a 3-way, a 4-way, a 5-way, a 6-way, a whatever way, anything more than 2, well, there's no DQ, because it's like, who are you going to disqualify? You got to disqualify the person that used the weapon and then kick them out of the match and keep the match going? It gets a little convoluted with that. Anyways, Charlotte gets beat down basically with a crutch. Alexa's on the top rope, watching all this going, whoa, hey, stop. Eventually goes for the Twisted Bliss, which gave, I guess you would say, Paige enough time to get the legs up. So Alexa goes not into the knees of Paige, but into the shins of Paige, whatever. It was enough for Alexa to not hit the Twisted Bliss properly, hurt herself. They get to their feet. Paige hits the Rampage and pins her 1, 2, 3. So Paige picks up the victory for her team. Her and Brie are the new Women's Tag Team Champions. Again, basically, the story that they're trying to tell, and they said this on the pre-show or the post-show, is Nikki had surgery on her ankle 2 weeks ago and was working hard to rehab it, physical training, trying to come back, this and that, and just couldn't. Well, she went to Birmingham to get that surgery. And who was in Birmingham? Well, it was Paige. And she called Brie on the phone and said, hey, if I can't make it, I've found a replacement. The only woman from either now or in their era that they would have felt like it's still family, it's her. It's still like one of us. She's like a sister to us. It's Paige. She kept calling her Saraya. So yeah, that's the story they're trying to tell. I don't know if that's true. We don't know when all this came together as far as Paige coming back to WWE. If this was hey, the Bellas had this idea, let's try to get her for it. Or if it's been in the works that she's going to come back. And so it all just worked out. We don't know any of that. All we know is yesterday, PW Insider reported, hey, Saraya Paige signed a new deal with WWE. She's working Mania. And I think it was them and Body Slam came around the same time with an update saying, we think it's a multi-year deal. She's going to wrestle. And so we don't know exactly when this all came together, how this all came together, if WWE was already working on this before Nikki got hurt, if this was something to where they had the idea, they called her and said, would you like to do it, come back, this, that, and so forth. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see when that news does eventually drop. But again, match was fine. Nothing special. Other than if Paige wasn't in this match, there would have been literally nothing of note that happened. Because it was just a straight up, the 4-way tag match. Nothing special. Moving forward. No long ass break. Saw more Hogan on this show than anybody. Fucker's dead and still getting put over more than anybody. They showed Tony Hinchcliffe and Jeff Ross. They said Kill Tony WrestleMania is tonight, and then Monday they'll stream up on Netflix. So they didn't show the Roast of Mania last year. Apparently they didn't want no one seeing that outside of who was there. But whatever they're doing tonight, Kill Tony Mania, it will be on Netflix Monday. Well, I don't know if it's going to be more tame. I've never watched a Kill Tony show. I don't know exactly. I've seen clips. Like I'll be scrolling TikTok or scrolling Instagram and it'll pop up and I'll be like, oh, let's see what this is. I've seen a couple, not many. And so I don't know if this is going to be different than the Roast of WrestleMania, if it's more tame than what they did last year, who specifically is going to be on it, but apparently it's not a Roast of WrestleMania. Instead, it's just a Kill Tony in Vegas for Mania weekend that they're promoting like the other Kill Tony shows on Netflix. Yes, Elite. So 11 years ago, so this ties in a couple things. 11 years ago was the final WrestleMania of both AJ Lee and Paige. They teamed together against who? The Bellas. So it all came back together, sort of, for Paige. Paige's first Mania in 11 years ended up being teaming with one of the women that she had her last Mania match against. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. That was the pee break of that night. Everybody got out of their chair and either went and got food or went to the bathroom. Literally, just about everybody. At least everybody in my section. And the sections surrounding me up high up where I was. So then, speaking of AJ Lee, she defended the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch had the Wonder Years out to perform her intro, unless there was a issue with the production and the audio. They were lip syncing, which is fine. It's fine. I saw people bitching and moaning about, oh, they're lip synced. So, whatever. The man has come around. Anyways. So Becky got her special entrance with the Wonder Years. AJ then got a really cool entrance where I want to say it was like 20 girls came out dressed as AJ Lee, skipping. You know, it was like the John Cena 24 entrance, I want to say. 25, maybe, where we had just the row of Cenas along the ramp. Well, we had that with AJ Lee. And AJ talked about this in the post show. So the little girls that walked out with her hand in hand, those are her nieces. And they had all the other girls dressed as AJ Lee, and she said that those girls represented the fans. Those girls represented everybody that skipped for AJ Lee, everybody that wore an AJ Lee shirt and that has and always have worn AJ Lee shirts. She said that entrance meant a lot to her because she said all those little girls represented all of you, the fans. Also, this match did play up the fact that Jessica Carr was the referee in a Becky Lynch match. So I liked that. As soon as I realized it, I was like, oh, this could be fun. But they could have played it up a little more, but they didn't want to overdo it, which was fine. So early on in the match, Lynch gave Lee a follow-away slam into the barricade and hit the middle rope drop kick for a 2, followed by an exploder for a 2. Lee made a quick comeback after Lynch got into a brief encounter, I should say, with Jessica Carr. Lee then hit a missile dropkick for a 2. A few more moves connected and numerous more counters that led to Lynch countering a Black Widow into a swinging Lee into basically throwing her into the middle turnbuckle. Lynch then followed this up with a manhandle slam, but only got a 2 off of it. Lynch then stomped Lee in the corner until Carr backed her off. Lynch got in Carr's face and started poking her until she stood up for herself, basically. Lynch shoved Carr, so Carr shoved her back. Lynch charged at Carr, and Carr stepped aside, and Lee gave Lynch a manhandle slam for a 2. Lee then tried to go for the Black Widow, but Lynch did counter it. Wade Barrett tried to claim this is all happening because Jessica Carr got involved, and Becky now can't, what did he say? Something like Becky can't focus or whatever. I don't know. And then there was like a handful of hair, but the ref didn't call anything or say anything to admonish. Lee then tried a corner charge, but Lynch pulled Jessica Carr between the two of them to block it. Lee stopped running. The distraction allowed Lynch to drive Lee face first into an exposed turnbuckle. Lynch then follows up with a manhandle slam and just pinned her. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. Becky Lynch pins AJ Lee and becomes the new, and I want to say first, 3-time Women's Intercontinental Champion. So really cool. Gotta love to see it. They interviewed AJ later and was just like, hey, you lost. What's next? She goes, I don't know. This ain't goodbye. Last time I was here, I didn't get to say a goodbye. I was just gone. And so now I'm not saying goodbye. I'm saying I'll be back eventually. I just don't know when. So basically, she said, we got no plans right now. I'm under contract. I'll be back eventually. Is basically what she's tried saying. Match itself for like 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Again, no women's match tonight. Went over 9 minutes. They then showed Chuck Zito. Again, George Kittle slamming back a beer. Terrence Crawford was in the crowd as well. And they showed some other guys, that Connor Ben, that a bunch of fighters and boxers don't like right now because of the money he's getting from TKO that he doesn't deserve, apparently. I don't know. Then we get Gunther and Seth. This match was all action from the start. And you could tell these two fuckers were out here to prove something. They wanted a match of the night. They got match of the night. You could tell. Hey, people talk shit about this match. People said that it was random and didn't need to happen. Well, we'll show them what random really means. Go out there and have a fucking great match. So, before the match even begins, before the bell rings, Gunther dropkick Rollins as he entered the ring and immediately follows with a back suplex and a powerbomb. Rollins then fights back on the outside, and they start fighting. Seth then, so like they're fighting on the announce table and over by the barricade. Seth then grabs chairs from the other side of the barricade, chairs that you sit in, not wrestling steel chairs, and just throws them at Gunther. A couple of them. You hear him hitting Gunther. And Cole said that if we were expecting a 5-star wrestling match here tonight, we ain't getting it because these two just want to fight, which is a very interesting line for him to make. Anyways, they're all going there, whatever. The match hasn't started yet. So, of course, Seth can use these chairs. Eventually, the dust settles and we're in the ring and the match begins. Rollins aggressively stomps Gunther, but Gunther fired back with a clothesline to take over. Rollins then came back with the buckle bomb, but Gunther hit a German suplex. Rollins then hit a German of his own, and they traded clotheslines. Rollins then tried to fire up some chops, but Gunther planted him with a powerbomb for a 2. Gunther countered a pedigree by Rollins, but Rollins came back with a knee strike. Rollins then followed this with a pedigree and a curb stomp for a near fall. The crowd then popped big for that. He traded counters until Gunther applied a sleeper. Rollins fought out of it with consecutive discus forearms. He went for a third, but Gunther clobbered him with a clothesline. Gunther then went to the top rope, but Rollins met him and hit him with a superplex and then a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Rollins immediately applied a sleeper, and the crowd chanted for Gunther to tap out, but he got to the ropes to break the hold. Rollins then hit consecutive suicide dives, and Gunther blocked a third and then hit a powerbomb on the edge of the ring. Gunther also powerbombed him on the announce table. They climbed on the table, and Gunther set it for another powerbomb, but Rollins hit a pedigree. Rollins followed this up with a stomp on the table. As the referee checked on Gunther, Braun Breaker, of all people, who we learned about a week and a half ago, is cleared, came out, sprinted around the ring, and speared Seth right into the barricade. So it's like, this should have been a DQ, but I guess the ref was distracted checking on Gunther. Seth gets thrown back into the ring. The referee and Gunther jump in the ring all of a sudden. Gunther immediately jumps on Seth, puts him in a sleeper, and Seth passes out. So, Gunther gets the, quote, technical submission victory. There we go. The match is over. Gunther wins. He disappears. Seth gets out of the ring. You think Breaker's gone. He's walked up the ramp. He's not gone. Because they want to show us that this man can run and run for a while. Seth's at the bottom of the ramp. Braun's almost at the top of the ramp. He then turns around and just sprints, runs, jumps a little too soon, goes for the spear, almost misses the spear, rotates weird. Yeah, speared Seth with the whole run down the ramp and then speared him. But he was just a little off, so he almost missed it. You can see him try to adjust himself. Seth tries to adjust himself. He like spins around weird. It was cool, but it could have been better. Just saying. Nitpick. Spear could have looked better. Just saying. But hey, this fucker had to run like half a football field just to get Seth. So I don't blame him for being tired by the time you get there and jumping a little early. So Seth gets speared here. Breaker goes back up the ramp. Hall Heyman's there. They hug it out at the top of the stage. They're going to get Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins moving forward. So I thought this, again, match of the night. Then they bring out the Hall of Fame class of 2026. On the stage, we've got Nick Hogan, Robin Rose. Oh, butcher this last name. It's Andre. I don't know why I said Andrade. Andre's real last name. Rosimov. And then Jimmy Hart was there as well. Sure. This was for the Immortal Moments thing. Then Demolition was there. Dennis Rodman was there. And holy shit, did you guys see Dennis Rodman's speech last night? Everyone always talks about the Tyson speech and how it went on and he rambled and blah, blah, blah. No, that's nothing compared to this fucking Dennis Rodman speech, where he starts off by just putting over WWE. And it's like, he's not even talking about anything he did in WCW. Just all about WWE's great. WWE's amazing. I love WWE. WWE's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And then he starts talking about a bunch of random other stuff. And then he's like thanking all these people. And he thanks Bischoff. And he thanks the NWO. And then he eventually thanks Hogan. And he talks about Hogan. He's wearing a Hogan NWO shirt. And he says, what you gonna do, brother? And it's this whole shit. Whole bunch of shit. And he was inducted by Nash and Kid, X-Pac, John Waltman. And they tell a story, you know, the infamous story of he didn't show up to practice during the NBA Finals. He was fined. Well, I never knew the amount. Nash tells the story. The NBA fined him $20,000. But WCW, for, I don't know if it was for the one night or for the collectiveness of everything he did, WCW paid him $250,000. And so Nash goes, you know, the NBA, they fined Rodman $20,000 for showing up to Nitro instead of going to practice. So in theory, Rodman still came up ahead $250,000 or $230,000. That was funny. They also show the family of Bad News Brown and Sid Vicious with, why is Sid Vicious a legacy inductee? Like Bad News Brown, I don't really know Bad News Brown. I've seen a couple Bad News Brown matches, but it's like it was random. I'm watching old stuff. But it's like Sid main evented a fucking Mania. Sid was a top goddamn guy. And he's a legacy guy that don't get his family to speak. Yeah, he gets a ring. But it's like, what? That's it? Sid Vicious. Again, nothing on Bad News Brown, but he's not a Sid Vicious. A Sid Vicious is not a guy you throw in the legacy wing. And his son, Gunther, not happy about any of this. His son, Frank, not seen for any of it either, which is interesting. His son, Frank, super cool guy. He was on Big Brother back in the day. Anyways. Yeah, just it's very weird that they called Sid a legacy inductee. When it's like, no, that's what you do for somebody like a Bad News Brown or like fucking thing. A fucking Thunderbolt or Thunderman, whoever that guy was last year that got inducted with the New Day doing the thing. I never heard of him before. He got a whole speech. But Sid doesn't? What? Come on. Sid's family don't get to speak? Bullshit. Anyways, we get more Hogan doc. The one that they kept playing up the one about Mania 3. Then there was one clip they showed. Linda talking about, when Hogan went to the NWO, he needed black. And so, like, he wore a pair of her tights the first time he wore all black. And, like, they found these boots in their closet. It was a whole thing. I don't know. So, they hyped up Liv Morgan and Steve Austin in Fortnite. Get our Fortnite parody shirt here. Fortnite 316. PWUnlimited.co/Fortnite 316. Again, that's PWUnlimited.co/Fortnite 316. You can get this t-shirt here. You get it as a fanny pack. You can get it on socks. You can get it on a sweater, a tank top, a hat. Multiple different options for Fortnite 316. Again, that is PWUnlimited.co/Fortnite 316. Anyways. Stephanie and Liv come out. Liv gets a special entrance. Liv's basically doing a dance the whole way down with women dancers and one dude. They couldn't have found the dude with the tan. Just saying. This guy was white. Like, bright white. Anyways. Now I'm going to talk more about the Trouble music video. I've already talked about how bad that is. But, yeah. Also, go watch the fucking post show because she does this thing in the dance where like she's on all fours and like her butt pops or whatever, right? And Corey Graves just randomly just goes, "Hey, I bet you couldn't teach me to do that or something." And she goes, "Corey, come here." He's like, "No." She's like, "Nope, you said it. Now come here, Corey." Like you get down on all fours. And so she basically forces Corey to try to do the little butt pop thing, and he can't do it at first, right? And he's like, "You know how bad this is going to be for me when I go home? Because my wife is a dancer, basically." And so then Liv's like, "Nope, we're going to do it again. Get down. Nope, you're going to try it again." And he does it better the second time. And he's like, "Man, I don't want to have to go home now after all this." And I don't know who says it. I think it may have been Joe. It's like, "Oh, man, I can't wait for you to go back to Pittsburgh and see what she has to say. See what your family has to say about that." Also, Corey not on commentary. It was Wade and Michael Cole. Don't know if they're changing it up for night 2 tomorrow, but interesting that it wasn't Michael Cole. They've been going way more on loving Wade on commentary. Wade as the color guy. So as far as this match does go, it went 9 minutes exactly. Nothing special at all other than, oh, hey, a bunch of Judgment Day interference. And Liv played that up on the post show as well, where she was like, the one thing that everyone thought got to me from Stephanie was that she said, "I can't do things on my own and I need the Judgment Day." Well, of course I need the Judgment Day. So, yeah. Anyways, Vakir was aggressive early on. Morgan powerbombed her out of the corner. Got a 2 off of it. Morgan followed this up with the 3 amigos and a little Eddie Guerrero shimmy jimmy. Turned for a frog splash, but Vakir got her knees up and hit a back suplex. Vakir then hit the devil's kiss, and the fans grunted along. Even though it probably could have been louder from the 50,000 that were there. Vakir then followed this up with the face buster. Got a 2 off of it. Morgan came back with a backstabber and smacked Vakir's head repeatedly. Morgan then set up for a devil's kiss of her own, but Vakir rolled into a cradle for a 2, followed by a backstabber for another 2. Morgan then hit a code breaker, but Vakir hit an oblivion for a 2. Roxanne then showed up, ran down to cause a little bit of distraction of the referee as Raquel dropped Vakir off the top rope, and Morgan hit her with an oblivion for a near fall. Vakir then kicked Perez and Raquel both off the apron, and Cole pleaded that the referee do something. Thank you. Morgan then tried to wipe out Vakir, but Vakir moved, and Morgan dove into Rodriguez. Vakir then followed this up with a big slingshot dive to the floor onto both Perez and Rodriguez. However, as she got back into the ring, Morgan was there to shove her right into the steel steps before she got in the ring, actually. Morgan then followed this up with throwing her in the ring, hitting a code breaker, hitting an oblivion, and pinning her to become the new Women's World Champion. The match ends, and Dominic shows up to celebrate with her. Dominic, Liv, Raquel, and Roxanne all celebrate in the ring as Pyro goes off, but JD didn't show up. No goddamn JD McDonough. I guess he was too busy getting ready for his match tomorrow. But, yeah, Wikipedia has this match listed at 9 minutes. Hold on. Let me see something. Someone just sent me a message about this match. That's not true. Someone said the match only went 7 minutes. No, it didn't. It went 9 according to Wikipedia. That sounds more reasonable. There's no way it was the shortest match of the night. It had to have gone 9. 9 sounds more right. Moving forward here. Go back my notes here. So, before this match started, I was sitting here going, the post show is not supposed to start for another 2 hours. 2 hours. And there's only 2 matches left. Because it was like 7:30 or a little past 7:30 when this match started, and WWE had on YouTube the post show slated to start at 9:30. It was all Central Time. Granted, it started way earlier, but I'm just like, whoa, either we're getting a lot of downtime or these matches are going long, and they just ended earlier than expected. Way earlier than even they expected. So John Cena comes out and he announces that, we got 50,816 here tonight. I don't know what the real number is. Let's go check WrestleTix and see what the more accurate number, I guess you would say, would be. Let's go WrestleTix. What are they saying for night 1? They're saying, 50 distributed, 5386. So WWE's saying, 5386. They got to 816. It's probably with everyone backstage. Okay. A pretty legit number. Because as of, let's see, hold on. 13 hours ago is 49. So, as of yesterday. As of yesterday, it was 49. And today it was 5386. So either, I don't know, but they sold about 1,000 tickets in the last day. I don't see anything for tomorrow yet. Saturday. What do we have for Sunday? Sunday. I don't see anything for Mania Sunday. Anyways, so they got the 50,000 number is a legit number, it seems like. I would trust WrestleTix. I don't know if you say reporting or just, numbers here. So John Cena comes out and announces 50,816. The crowd reacts how they're going to react. It was whatever. Fireworks go off. And then we hear the music of Bianca Belair. Bianca comes down to the ring wearing this big, blue, feathery, flowery jacket thing. And I'm like, oh, Bianca made some cool gear. She's coming out. What has she got to say? Is she going to announce her return or something? And she starts talking, and you can immediately tell something's wrong. Maybe not wrong, that's the wrong way to say it, but she's not here to say I'm back. She's not here to make a challenge to somebody. She's not here to say I'm cleared. You can tell 100% because it was just like when Naomi announced she was pregnant. It was emotional on her end. And so Belair's wearing this big thing, and she goes, John, at WrestleMania, we always have a lot of surprises, big announcements to be made. How about we give the fans for night one just one more big announcement, one more big surprise? And she starts unbuttoning the coat, and she's saying all this where she's trying to keep it all together. And she's unbuttoning the coat. You can kind of see like the top, and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of like Bianca Belair style gear. And then she pulls it all open. You see the belly, and you're like, oh, she's pregnant. And she announces she's pregnant. She's going to have a baby. And John Cena goes, well, that's one more youngest WWE superstar ever here. Let's update the number, 50,817 in attendance. I thought that was funny. I don't know if John knew ahead of time. Give me 1 second. Daughter texted me. They're out of town right now on vacation with their mama. So she texted me good night. Missed that by an hour and a half. She texted me an hour and a half ago. Anyways, basically we started this podcast. Anyways. Oh, now my son's texting me. Good night. Give me 1 second, guys. Wait, who won the race? Oh, wow. Didn't expect that one. Anyways. So, yeah, Bianca is pregnant. She's going to have a baby. Don't know any other details, but we'll see her when we see her, I guess you would say. Let me get another Hogan video. Oh, Mania one again. Then there's a ad for Wheatley Vodka, which is kind of a funny ad where Cody's like, Wheatley American Vodka wants to celebrate America 250. And then he goes, wait, stop. And then like they cut and they show the green screen behind him. And he's like, director, you really think this is what America is? And it's a French guy walks up and goes, oui, it's America. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And he goes, no, this is America. And he's walking around a like barbecue backyard of somebody's house or whatever. He's got the American Wheatley vodka. He's like, Wheatley, so good, I drink it neatly. And he walks up on frickin', of all people, Jim Duggan, Carmelo Hayes. And we get the, oh. And like Cody's talking about America, Wheatley American vodka. And they do the jingle and they're all sitting around a fire or whatever. It was fine. It was cool. Whatever. Those are the kind of ads that are fine because there's someone sponsoring the show. Quick little 30-second ad spot. We don't need these 3 to 4 minute commercial breaks. If you want to plug Fortnite, you want to plug Cricket Wireless, you want to plug Wheatley America Vodka and like disperse throughout the show 30-second ad clips. Fine. Then we get a video hyping up next year's Mania. Fine. But I don't know. When we got fucking TV commercial spots, like when we're sitting here 3.5, 4 minutes, no, it kills the whole mood and the vibe. Elliot, of course, she's probably been pregnant for a little bit. It's not like she just found out last week and already got a belly. It's not how it works, guy. It's not how it works. Trust me, I know. I had kids. Let me finally get to our main event. I say finally like this show went on forever like an AEW show. It didn't. The show ended even earlier than they expected. Anyways. So Pat comes out first, gets his own entrance. Orton then comes out, gets a cool little entrance with like snakes on the thing, and they played the stage up well where the snakes swirled down one tower and then up the other tower and then through the back of the stage. I hear voices in my... Yeah. I hear voices in my head. They talk to me. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me. Whoa, tell me things that I can... Anyways, I fucked that up. Anyways, you know me. Any opportunity I can try and sing, I'll sing. I'll sing all the time. Fuck. Anyways, so he comes out. Cody, I think it's a really cool entrance. It's like an Iron Man style thing, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it felt Iron Man-ish as far as like when Iron Man walks into his workshop and he's got the cabinets of all the different suits. Well, that's what this kind of was, or at least it felt like. And so we see the original Cody Rhodes gears, the green with the red CR on the trunks. Then we see the dashing gear with like the vest with the hood. Then we see Stardust. Crowd kind of popped a little bit when they showed Stardust. Then we get the Now Cody. It's basically the gear from WrestleMania 38. And Cody then comes up the Cody Vader, right? Cody Vader. Well, the lights go out because we have this like this ominous like music playing as they're showing everything, and they got these video packages playing. And then the music, everything is wrestling has more than one royal family. You know, his music plays. Adrenaline in my soul, feeling like I'm out of control. Do it all to get him off the feet. So, really cool there. Cody comes out again. Would have been so much better if it was dark in that building. So when the lights all went out, everything was dark. But do what you got to do. He then comes down. He embraces Brandy and Liberty. No new baby out there. Probably too loud for her. And McAfee does Orton's intro in the ring. He cuts off Alicia Taylor. She does Rhodes' intro. But mostly boos from the crowd in Vegas. Mostly boos. So Cody goes to take off the jacket, a special gold jacket. And all of a sudden we hear, hey, motherfucker! Pat clocks him with the goddamn microphone. I don't know what the hell Pat was trying to say beforehand, but he like yelled something to the mic and then smacks Cody in the back of the head with it. He and Randy start beating down Cody. The match had not started yet. No bell had been rung. So Orton puts the boots to Rhodes, but Rhodes fights off and throws him out of the ring. He then grabs McAfee for a crossroads. Also, you want to see a better crossroads than Cody? I know someone that can do a better crossroads than Cody, or at least it looked like last night. Old frickin' Brody Jr. Brody Jr. had a great match last night with Joey Janela and did a crossroads as good, if not better than Cody. I don't know if that's Brody doing a really good crossroads or Joey Janela taking a really good crossroads, but everyone needs to give Joey Janela his fucking flowers. Yes, Brody Jr. is going to be a fucking great wrestler one day. Kid's only 14. He's had amazing trainers down there at the dungeon with TJ and Natty and everybody else that's helped train him. He's had, he's worked matches with Liv down there. He's worked matches with Dawkins and B-Fab and everybody else that trains down there and then in the dungeon. But, what was I going to say? Brody Jr. had this match last night with Joey Janela, his first match ever, and it was not they went in there and played wrestling. No, it was a legit, real match. And he went in there, and it was very reminiscent of early Nick Wayne, but in my opinion, better than Nick Wayne when he was 14, 15 years old. So if this kid keeps at it and just keeps going at this clip, as far as his training does go, and gets better and better and better. And we've heard from like Natty and TJ and stuff that he takes criticism really well. They tell him what he's doing wrong and he absorbs that and uses it to get better. And so I feel like, he's going to hear what they tell him he did wrong or not as good as he could have in this match. And he's going to take that and he's going to use it to get better. I don't know when he's going to have another match, but you haven't seen that match. Joey Janela versus Brody Lee Jr. Go out of your way to watch it. It was freaking great. And everyone, please give Joey Janela your flowers because he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to go in there and have that match with Junior, Brody Jr. It was awesome. And he, I guess you would say, walked him through a great match. and sold for him, took the loss, got everything. Like, yeah, everyone needs to give Joey Janela his flowers for giving Brody such a great, amazing first match, especially at 14 years old. It was awesome. It was fucking awesome. Go watch it. Anyways, going back to Cody, he hits McAfee at the crossroads. And then places McAfee on the announce table. And all of a sudden, Jelly Rolls appears at ringside. And Jelly's like, get him. Put him down. And Jelly Roll jumps up on the Spanish announce table. Flies off of it with an elbow drop. They put Pat through the table. And they're calling for a stretcher. And they stretcher Pat out of there. Basically, they were trying to tell us, Pat ain't coming back. We take Pat out. Which fucker did come back. Also, Michael Cole, who's Pat's best friend, now hates Pat and calls Pat a hypocrite and says this Pat got where he deserved. And I don't know. And Wade's like, I thought you guys were buds. I thought you were best friends, Cole. He's like, not anymore. Not for everything he said about this business and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so all of that is to say, we go in, they start the match, and it's just a match. You think Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes would be so much better than it was. And we don't know if, it wasn't great because Randy's hurt, but they played that up. As they were stretching McAfee out there, Randy was standing there watching like, oh my God, Pat, are you okay? And Cole goes, hey, there's something I need to bring up. There's been some rumors and reports online this week that Randy may be dealing with an injury. Randy may be hurt going into this match. And the rumor in the locker room is that Randy may be dealing with a back injury. And so I guess maybe Randy needed to be a little slow, which he was in this match. And that was their out, saying, hey, the news leaked. Let's play it up. Let's play it up. Elite says Jelly was much more intimidating when he was 300 plus pounds. Don't even start that bullshit. Don't even. He's 300 plus pounds and couldn't get up off the floor by himself. Needed the Miz. He said it in the Chris Van Vliet episode. The moment he knew he needed to lose weight, but the moment he knew he needed to lose weight is when he did that 5-knuckle shuffle at SummerSlam and couldn't get back to his feet and said, I needed 2 grown-ass men in the Miz and R-Truth to get me back up on my feet. That's the moment I knew I need to be serious about losing weight. So don't be like, he was more intimidating when he was 300 pounds. So what? Because most pro wrestlers aren't 300 plus pounds, they're not intimidating? Is Brock Lesnar at 280 pounds not intimidating because he's under 300 pounds guy? Is Cody Rhodes at 240 not intimidating because he's under 300 pounds? Fuck off with that. Jelly Roll's got himself in immaculate shape, way better shape that is going to elongate his life, basically. And you want to say he needs to be over 300 pounds because he was more intimidating then? Fuck you. Anyways, the match eventually starts. Orton was briefly in control until Rhodes did the gold dust uppercut. Power slam. Orton came back with a backbreaker, though. Cole then mentioned, Cole once again mentions the back injury to Randy Orton. And then Wade says, well, Cole, there ain't many moves here in professional wrestling that don't have you landing on your back. So hopefully that doesn't hurt Randy. Rhodes then went after him, but Orton poked him in the eye. Rhodes managed to hit a back suplex, and Orton sold it like his back was messed up. Rhodes then drove Orton back first into the corner after applying a single-legged crab. Rhodes then let go of the hold, but kept targeting the back. Things then moved along very slowly until Orton tripped Rhodes on the top rope. Orton then met him on the top turnbuckle and hit a superplex, hurting his own back in the process. I think this is when Wade brought up the whole, you're always landing on your back. Orton then hit clotheslines and a power slam and a draping DDT. Orton then continued to sell his back instead of dramatically dropping to the mat to set up an RKO. He went down kind of slowly and methodically. Rhodes then blocked an RKO attempt. Orton blocked Rhodes' suicide dive. Orton then gave Rhodes a back suplex on the other announce table, and the crowd watched silently, basically. Rhodes then drove Orton into the ring post, and there was a little bit of a ooh, ooh. The crowd just seemed off and on for this match, which was weird. The crowd then gasps upon seeing Randy Orton come up busted open. Rhodes saw the blood and hammered away at the head of Randy. Rhodes did the Garvin stomp and hit a disaster kick for a 2. Rhodes then wiped blood over the dream tattoo on his chest before dramatically setting up for a draping DDT. Rhodes then hit the move and banged to the mat to set up for an RKO. Orton blocked the attempt and hit across Rhodes for a 2. Orton fired up to set up for an RKO, but Rhodes turned it into a backslide for a 2. Rhodes then popped up and hit an RKO for a near fall. Rhodes then shoved Orton into the announce table. Cole erroneously claimed that this was a new side of Cody Rhodes that we haven't seen before. Why? Because Cody did Randy's back suplex on the announce table. They drop him. What? What's so new about this, Cole? Fuck you, Michael Cole. Because he's doing Randy moves? I don't fucking know. Anyways, Rhodes then set up Orton for a Cody cutter, but Orton suddenly hit an RKO instead. Got a near fall off of it. He traded strikes until Rhodes poked Orton in the eye. Orton was momentarily blinded, and he accidentally gave the referee Charles Robinson, an RKO. Orton then went for a low blow, but it was blocked, and Cody gave him one instead. Fans booed. Rhodes then went for a Cody cutter, but Orton nailed him with an RKO. Referee still down. Who comes out? Oh, Pat fucking McAfee. Runs down into neck brace, and a ref shirt. And Cole's over here. This ain't right. How can this be? It's not legal. He's not a referee. And Wade goes, well, you know, he's got high brass friends in TKO, so they probably said it's okay. He could be an official. They let him do whatever he wants. And so Pat comes in, starts counting 1, 2. Cody kicks out. Orton and looks at Pat and is like, well, fuck you, guy, and gives him an RKO. He just takes out Pat. After all of this, he just hits Pat. Not by accident either. It's not like he went to jump for Randy or for Cody. Cody moved and he accidentally grabbed Pat. No. Cody was over here still down. He turns around and just, fuck you, Pat. RKO. What? So, because Randy is over here dicking around with Pat McAfee, Cody grabs him and hits him with a crossroads. Charles Robinson starts stirring. Cody goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Cody just pins Randy. And we're like, or I'm here watching by myself. I'm like, that's it? We're done? The fucking Pat Randy stuff over? What the fuck is going on here? And so Cody grabs the belt. He's posing, I won the match, yeah, and Randy yanks it from him. Yanks the title belt away from him. And grabs it and boom, clocks Cody. But Cody's down. Cody's stirring. He gets up to all 4, and Randy's looking at the belt. And he's looking at the belt. And he puts down the belt. He goes in the corner. And he's ready. And Cody gets on all 4s. Boom! Punts his ass right in the face. Just backed up, bucked up, and boom! Punts him. That's how the show goes off the air. Cody taking a punt to the face. Then they show us on the post show, Cody's eye, all jacked up. Don't know where the eye injury came from, but like his freaking eyelid won't open. Like they're like pulling it up and it just closing right back on him. They're pulling it up and it closing right back on him. So I bet you the storyline they're gonna play it up that was the punt. The punt broke the eye of Cody. I don't know if it's an orbital bone injury. I don't know what's going on with the eyelid, but they'll probably say to do that punt where he doesn't even touch you, and it looks like he kicked you right in the fucking head. So, yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, it was just all right. Night 1 of WrestleMania, Mania 41 from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. You know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of the show. Like I said, if I was voting, probably vote it was just all right. Probably how I would vote. But let's go refresh all these polls and see what you guys voted. Ooh, that ain't good. YouTube poll ain't favorable. Tell you that right now. As far as the Threads poll, let's go. 47% like the show. 33% thought it was just all right, and 20% didn't like it. Looking at the Twitter poll, 57% didn't like it. 28% thought it was just all right, and 14% liked it. As we look over at the YouTube community poll, 55% liked the show, 27% thought it was just all right, and 18% didn't like it. And finally, the live poll, 48% liked the show, 26% thought it was just all right, and 26% didn't like it. Messi, I'm not muted, so you must click something on your end. With that, guys, that was night 1 of WrestleMania 42. We'll be back here live tomorrow for night 2. With that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Don't forget to head over to pwunlimited.co/Fortnite316 to get your very own Fortnite 316 parody merch right now and support Pro Wrestling Unlimited on the PW Unlimited T Public Store. Again, that's pwunlimited.co/Fortnite316. Have a good night, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.